Hi folks, this is Gary and this is my box, but what's more important is what's in the box. That would be my new Android-based head unit. We used to call these car stereos when I was growing up. This one has a fancy name. It's called a Tesla style display. I think what they're referencing when they say Tesla style is the size of the screen, because it's typically going to be bigger than the OEM screen in the vehicle you have, or that came with your vehicle. And you're probably going to be replacing some of the knobs and switches with soft on-screen controls. And again, that's going to depend on the model of head unit you have and the make and model of your vehicle itself. This particular one is for my Ford F150, and in just a minute I'll go over the specs of my F150 and all the specs of the head unit itself. I ordered this on August 18th and it arrived on September 4th. So it had about a 2-week turnaround. It did come directly from China. I did pay extra for the express shipping because I was afraid, since it was shipping from China, it'd be a 6 months wait, but surprisingly 2 weeks wasn't bad at all. One of the reasons that I'm going to be making this series of videos is because as I was researching these Tesla style units, I found a real lack of information out there. There are some good forums out there, especially the Ford F150 forums, that do have some decent information, but it's sort of scattered all over the place. There's nothing complete. And there are videos on the Phoenix Automotive website that show installs and how to program, but there doesn't seem to be anything complete from A to Z out there, and that's what I'd like to do. This first video is just going to be the unboxing video, which I have not seen an unboxing video out there on YouTube anyplace. So for those of you who are interested, this might be something that's going to appeal to you. After this unboxing video, I'd like to do an install video. And again, there are a few install videos out there, but to me they don't seem complete. I'm not seeing the OEM wiring harnesses and someone telling me what head harness goes to what OEM harness and what it does. And that's what I'd like to do, is to do it as concise as possible in case you're considering installing one of these in your Ford F150. And as I noted, there's different models of these Tesla style screens from Phoenix Automotive, depending on what vehicle it's going to be installed in. So this is really for the Ford F150 folks out there who may be interested in doing this. It's probably not going to apply to someone who has a Chevy or a Dodge, etc. Now, before I get started on this, full disclosure, this is my first YouTube video. I'm not a videographer. I'm actually doing this on my Note 9, so forgive any mistakes. Number two, I'm not a professional audio installer either. I do have experience with Android, been playing around with it for years. I know how to dive fairly deep into it. And I do have an electronics background. So hopefully both of those things are going to help me avoid mistakes, or at least the mistakes that I make, I can fix, and you'll be able to see what I'm getting ready to, and how I'm going to fix them. And that'll be the second video. That'll be the install video. And then the third video, I'm going to go through the capabilities of the unit, because I haven't seen that either. Again, I see on the forums, yes, you can do split screen, and then somebody else comes along and says, no, it won't do split screen. Well, I'd like to do a real deep dive into this thing and show everyone what the capabilities really are. Now, most of the reviews on this unit out there are not very good. Now, again, I said I'd go over the specs. This is the PX6 unit, and I hear it's much better. So I'll hold judgment until we're done with all 3 videos. But it looks a little more promising, and it looks like Phoenix has actually updated the software so that it runs correctly with the sync unit that you have in your vehicle. So let me grab the receipt here. We'll go over that real quick, and I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, before we go over the receipt, I thought it might be of some interest to someone. The size of the shipping box. Obviously, that has nothing to do with the contents of the box or how big the unit is, but it looks like the shipping dimensions are roughly 17 by 18 by 6. Now, this is my Harbor Freight tape measure, so we'll hope that that's close enough for you. Another little oddity that I found was on the invoice. As you can see, invoice total $110. Now, I ended up paying somewhere around $850, and I'll explain that in just a second. So I'm not sure if Phoenix Automotive shipping from China devalued things so they didn't have to pay as much in insurance, or if that's their actual cost for making the units. But I saw that and sort of got a kick out of it. Now we're going to move over to the actual invoice itself. So hopefully we'll get this focused, but as you can see, it says that it's a PS6 6-core, and of course that's the processor, with 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of ROM, 4 with sync, 2, 4 with auto AC. And that's what I have. Is I have a 2015 Ford F150 Platinum Series. It's got all the bells and whistles, and I'm just waiting for one of them to break. But it did not come with Sync 3. And when I bought it used about 4 months ago, I looked into upgrading from Sync 2 to Sync 3, and it was about $1,500, and it looked like the only thing that I was really gaining. I mean, obviously the Sync 3 is a newer unit, and it's much better, but you know, the software advantages was you got Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and I just wasn't going to pay $1,500 to get those 2 things. So it looked like this turned out to be a better bargain at $729.99, because as you can see above that, I also purchased the built-in Android Auto and built-in CarPlay for $25 per. Now, I'm not sure if this is a software function or if there's a hardware, or if there's a box that we're going to install after the head unit and before the cell phones. I have an Android, my wife has an Apple phone, so that's why I got both of those. So we'll see when we unbox this. Be fairly interesting. You can see they're running Android 8.1. My guess is that we probably won't ever see a software update. Obviously, we're on Android 10 now, but this is certainly better than what some of the units came out with, which was Android 4.4. I just skipped those units totally. You're going to find some software won't run on 4.4 nowadays. Now, the promise of this unit was plug and play, but some of the videos that I've seen out there, I wouldn't think that a novice would want to try this thing, because it looks like once you remove the head unit from the Ford F150, remove the sync module, take everything out, you literally have to take the heating and air conditioning control board off and install it onto the new head unit. That's not going to be simple for some people, and certainly might scare them away from the install. But again, we'll show you all that when we actually get to the physical install of the unit. I think that's about it for the invoice. We'll take a look what's inside the box in just a moment. I'll be right back. Okay, so I certainly wasn't going to fuddle around with a phone in one hand and a knife in the other and bore you while I tried to get the box open. So I went ahead and did the unboxing, and voila, there you go. As you can see, it says Phoenix on it. 12.1, 10.4 inch audio video navigation receiver. 12.1 is probably referring to the total size. 10.4 is the screen size. You can see it shows that, oh, that's real glossy. Let's go back down here. Navigation, music, mirror link, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and app. On the other side, we're basically doing the same thing. And on the other side, it's in Mandarin, so we won't even try that. First impression is I didn't expect this quality of box. I don't know why, but the box is very nice. The graphics are very nice. So let's open this up and see what we get. Okay, so it looks like we've got the head unit itself. I'm going to lay that right over there. Then we have our box of wire harness. Let's see if there's anything under here. I think the thing we're missing right now is instructions. And that's one of the reasons that I'm going to be doing this videos, to see if I can get this accomplished without the instructions, with some help off the web, and help other people who are trying to do this. Hang on just a second. I'm going to take this stuff out, and we'll see what's underneath the cover and inside the little box. I'm back, and the excitement continues. I've got everything laid out, and we'll go over these individual pieces one by one and see what they are. Obviously, this is going to be our main wiring harness from not only the sync unit that's currently, that we're going to take out and install onto that head unit. That's going to go to the OEM wiring. As you can see, we have some RCA connectors down there. These are all in some shape for video, reverse camera. These unterminated ones, I'm not sure what these are. Camera control. This is something that we're gonna have to look into as we go, because my F150 does have the 360 camera view, and the promise was that anything that you had with Sync 2 you wouldn't lose, because you're actually installing your Sync 2 unit onto the Tesla style display unit. It looks like it's wired fairly nice. They use some cloth wire wrap here. The connectors are adequate. I've seen better. Like I said, I work in the field of electronics, selling electronics equipment, but again, they will do. We've got our GPS antenna, the speaker, and I believe what this speaker actually does is, this is the secondary audio from navigation that comes through the Tesla head unit. And don't think anything else comes through there. Again, we're going to find out. Got us a big old mic. I'm going to hook it up. Don't know if it's needed. We'll see about that. This is additional USB connectors, and I guess there must be some software provided within the head unit, because this is what, well, number one, you're going to be able to charge your phone, but you're going to be able to do your mirror link and hopefully my Android Auto and Apple CarPlay with this USB harness. As you can see, it's right there. Here is the CAN bus converter. And this is what's going to go between the OEM wiring to the Phoenix Auto wiring. I can tell right now just by looking at this. We move this over. We've got a white plug that's going to plug right into that. I saw it earlier. There we go. White plug that's going to plug right into that. So I believe this is going to become a lot clearer once I start getting into this and taking out the original head unit and seeing what wires are connected where there. They give you 2 replacement top buttons. So let's take a look at the unit itself. So we'll back up a little bit here. My guess is we've got a 12-inch unit with a 10-inch display. As you can see, you've got your cutouts, or at least I do for my model, because it's got auto AC. So there's going to be my controls that, again, I am going to take out of the head unit that's currently installed and install them in this unit. There's really nothing on the front here except a mic and reset button. The unit doesn't have any extra ports, no memory slot, no SIM card, nothing of that nature. It feels pretty hefty and built well, I'll tell you that. Don't have any problem with the build quality. And then on the back is basically their CPU that's going to interface with the Sync 2 module to make this a little puppy run. And I think we can just pop that right off, because that's where the Sync 2 module is going to plug in there. So, but again, it looks like the build quality is very good. Don't have a problem with that. It'll be very interesting once we start digging into this thing to see how it actually installs and how easy it goes. For now, that's all I have, and I'll see you on the next video, and that'll be our install video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much.